Hi everyone. Today I'm reading a book called If You Find a Rock. Our author is Peggy Christian, and the photographs in the story are by Barbara Hirsch Lember. So that means we're going to have real pictures to look at, not drawings or paintings. Now, this is one of my favorite guidebooks to use when I go rock hunting. A guidebook is a book that can tell you the type of thing that you found and give it its real name. But this isn't an official guidebook, so I'm not going to learn the scientific names of the rocks that I find, but I'm going to learn about the possibilities of what I could do with those rocks that I find. So that's why I think it's a fun guidebook. Maybe you'll want to use it too if you like to collect rocks like I do. If you find a rock. Look at all those cool pictures of rocks. That's our title page. And our dedication page, as you see, our author, Peggy Christian, dedicated it to Jess and Dean, third generation rockhounds, and my best inspiration. And our photographer, Barbara Hirsch Lember, dedicated it to her husband, Steve, and the wonderful children I photographed for this book, Atusa, Brett, Joseph, and Nina. So we're going to see some real children in this story that we read. Here we go. If you find a rock, a nice, flat, rounded rock that sits just right in the crook of your finger, then you have a skipping rock. You toss it out into the water just so, and you see it trip across the surface, making a chain of spreading wings. And you see the ripples in the water right out here where it's landed? Maybe you find a soft white rock, a rock that feels dusty in your fingers. Then you have a chalk rock, and you use it to make pictures on the pavement. There he goes. So that's not chalk he's using, that's a rock to make all those lines and designs. Or you might find a big mossy rock by the side of a long, steep trail. Then you have a resting rock, and as you sit down, you feel the cool moss squash beneath you. Look at that. That looks like a great place to sit and think and relax. Then again, you might find a rock with a stripe running all the way around it. Trace the line with your finger. It must circle all the way. Then you have a wishing rock, and you whisper what you want before you throw it. There's the white line. And if it goes all around the rock, you can make a wish and throw it and see if your wish will come true. If you find a rock, a big rock, by the edge of the water, then you have found a splashing rock. When it hits the surface, the water jumps out of the way, raining back down on your outstretched hands. The bigger the rock, the wetter you get. See the big splash? Look at that. And you can get wet on a nice hot summer day. Maybe you find a pile of small rounded pebbles. Then you have found sifting rocks, and you can scoop up a handful and let them slide slowly through your fingers. There she is. Look, there's a close-up. So there she is, holding them in her hands. And then there's a close-up of all the beautiful little pebbles that are in her hands. Very cool. Or you might find a rock whose water-smooth surface catches your eye. It feels easy in your hand when you rub it. And then you have a worry rock. You rub it between your fingers, and your troubles are smoothed away. See here? She's right there. She's rubbing it. Look how smooth it looks. Worry rocks. So nice rocks. Then again, you might find a rock sitting in a grassy field. Push it over. You have found a hiding rock. And in the cool, dark underside live all kinds of things that creep and crawl and hide out of sight. See? They're lifting up the rock right there, and they're looking at what is hiding underneath it. But don't take that rock if something's hiding underneath it. Put it back down because they're hiding under there for a reason. And we want to make sure those little creatures stay safe. If you find a rock, a great rock that towers over you, then you have found a climbing rock. Hold on with your toes and fingers. Grip hard as you stretch up and pull until you reach the top, where you feel much grander than you did on the ground. Look at that rock. It's like a mountain. You climbed up to the top. Maybe you will find a twisting line of rocks sticking up out of a creek. Then you have found crossing rocks, which wait to meet your feet as you pass over the water rushing away all around you. My grandmother lived on the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania, and we used to have crossing rocks by our house that we could cross the river by jumping from rock to rock. That was a lot of fun. Or you might find a rock with a print of something else, a leaf or a shell. Then you have found a fossil rock, and you feel the shape of something that lived long ago when the rock was young. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that. Look at all the great lines that are in that rock. Those got pressed into the rock many years ago. You can still feel the shape. Could be a shell, could be a leaf, could be an animal. Then again, you could find a small rounded rock right in front of your toe as you go down the sidewalk. You have found a walking rock, and you kick it ahead of you and you let it lead you home. Have you ever done that? Found a rock in the street and you kicked it along with your toe as you walked? Then you found a walking rock if you did. If you find a rock that's not a skipping rock or a chalk rock or a resting rock or a wishing rock, that's not a splashing rock or a sifting rock or a worry rock or a hiding rock, that's not even a climbing rock or a crossing rock or a fossil rock or a walking rock, but you like it anyway because it reminds you of a place or a feeling or someone important, then you have found a memory rock. And sometimes those are the best rocks of all. So whenever I go on a trip to someplace new, I always look around for a special rock that catches my eye and that I like, and I pick it up and I take it home with me so that I have a special memory to keep of the place that I was visiting. Oh, look, and there's one last picture. He's picking up and finding a rock. So you might want to go on some adventures this summer and see if you can pick up some special rocks and use this book, If You Find a Rock, as a guide to tell you what kind of rock it was that you found. Bye!